Hi, welcome to class. We're the only two right now, but the other ones will show up eventually, right? I hate my life. I hate my life. A Professor Sunreis Productions! Hello class, Professor Sunreis here. In today's class, we're taking a look at a replay analysis of me playing Dragon Link 50 cards, or we should call it Bystial Control with a Rokket Engine, against Spright. I think this replay was very interesting because it both showcased the power that the Rokket Engine gives to the Bystial Control play, so just the highest seeding that Dragon Link has, the access into Synchro 8, but it also showcased still some misplays I do with the deck because I'm just not used to playing the deck. There are a lot of lines which are definitely not intuitive. Dragon Link is known to be a very skill-intensive deck, and I'm definitely still lacking some of that skill I used to have with the deck just because I haven't been playing it for like 3 months or something. So just a few lines, a few miscalculations, being too greedy, trying to go for OTK, stuff like that. These are all misplays, but of course, these misplays are perfect for you guys and also for me guys to get better at the game. So without further ado, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave some feedback down in the comment section below, and let's get right into the video. So here we are in the replay. We're up against Scarface 717. They win the die roll and decide to go first. 41 versus 50. You don't love to see this, I'm gonna tell you. So let's pause here for a second. The opponent is on Spright with double Gamma, Starter, Droll, and Carrot, and we are on Gamma, Tracer, Quick Launch, Safert, and Droll ourselves. So that's a pretty good one. They decide to start with the Starter, not in the draw phase. That's a big misplay. Especially if you don't have a talents to punish. They try to search with blue. We let it resolve. You could Gamma this, but using Droll here is definitely the play. If you have both options available, you always want to use the Droll first, in my opinion, because you can make use of the Gamma later on in the turn or in the combo or in the game itself. But with Droll, it's the value it has post turn 1, it just gets diminished greatly. So the search jet. Cannot search otherwise though, so they just summon the Carrot, go for the Gigantic, and summon out of the deck. I think it was a red. Yeah, it should be a red here. Yeah, so they summon a red, and they just pass turn. Then we draw Black Metal Dragon, which is a pretty good pickup here. Here I go for the normal summon Safert. I think I can OTK here because I have a Gamma for the red, and I think they will just negate my my Safert searches. So I get a little bit greedy. What the play would have been. Should just go battle phase and run over the Gigantic so that they now don't have any negates, because they of course can still have hand traps. So we search to cool up certain. They go for a Droll, we go for a Gamma, and they go for a red. So we go for the cool up certain now. The opponent tries to tell me that they wanted to go for a red negate, but by not telling me that they want to go for a negate. So guys, red negate doesn't have to destroy, so you always have to say that you want to destroy. Otherwise, the opponent can just get the benefit out of it. So definitely do that. So we go for the cool up certain here. We forgot to banish the Safert. We will do that later on. We summon with Quick Launch a Rokket Tracer. And if we didn't do that, if we went over the battle phase of the Gigantic and then we would have just gotten drilled and then we would have Gamma, we would have immediately won the game here. So we probably should have just gone for that, but I was greedy and wanted to go for a greedy OTK. We do a pretty standard Savage pass. We do still have some sort of play, so it can be fine, especially in a simplified game set like that. So yeah, the opponent draws an Angler. That's a fine draw. You just really need a normal summon at this point if you have Jet already. So they go for the Jet summon, normal summon Angler before that, of course. They search a Starter. And then they just go off into the Mosquito to bait out the Savage negate. They go battle phase. We basically have to negate that because otherwise we just lose the negate, because our effect would be negated if they apply the not the token, the counter. They go main phase 2. They make a Downerd. They make a Zeus. And they have a format Zeus, so 2 activations. They can use 1 to get rid of the Savage. You don't have to go for that, but it probably is still the smarter play because they of course still want to do some sort of plays there. So they go for the Starter. Problem is they already went through Carrot and Blue. Through Red and Carrot, sorry. So they summon a Blue now. They cannot actually search anything to summon off the deck. They tried to go here. I think I remember that. Yeah, they tried to go for a Blue search Blue, which of course doesn't work. It cannot search itself. So they have to go for a Jet and don't actually have any sort of other plays afterwards, so they just end on a Zeus. So that's pretty free for us. We search a Lubellion, get a Lubellion into our hands. It's probably the best card. We go for Lubellion, search a Magnemite, and here we have multiple lines of play. We could commit into a black metal dragon. And bait the Zeus with that, or we can go for a Magnamut into Lubellion and bait the Zeus with that, and then use the Black Metal Dragon to go for, what's it called? You guys know it? It's called Seal. The problem we did have in turn 1 is that we actually went through the Striker Dragon while on the draw. That was definitely a misplay. We should have just gone for a Pisty. Or honestly, we just didn't need it. We could have just summoned Tracer and popped the Chillhop Serpent. Saving the Striker Dragon would have been insane here. Having the ability to get the Tracer out of our hand would have been insane. But like I said, we just are trying to get better at dealing again. We haven't played it in a while. It's been like, I think at the end of Ishizu format I was playing dealing, so a lot of the lines are not intuitive for me at the moment, but we will definitely get there. So we get a Lubellion here, get the Branded Beast. We try to bait the Zeus here. They chain Zeus, of course, so Branded Beast doesn't resolve. We normal summon Black Metal. We link it to Pisty, and imagine if we search Striker Dragon here, we could have gotten Tracer out of the hand. We would have had some nice applications there. So we search the Red as Darkness Metal Dragon. We summon it. Use the effect to summon Magnamut, make a seal, and face search Lubellion for follow-up and pass. They have a Gamazos, so this seal is just gonna screw us over hard. They go battle phase, we use seal, mandatory seal effect, and they gamma, and we basically lose at this point. What I also should have done is this search should have been a Leviathan, because we actually did have enough plays in the simplified game state for Leviathan to be a very good pickup. Because look at them, they cannot really go for a lot here. We'll just fast forward through this because they're basically out of all of their Spright engine. Yeah, they can go for this route here, but it's just the Melffys. The Sprites don't really do anything. They just got everything out. And imagine if we had a Levy with this one. Don't care about the Branded Regain. Just a Levy onto this board. You can get rid of basically everything. That they have a Hearttron Smashes here is I didn't know that. This is of course, well, this is basically full combo in turn 3. But a Levy would have been a way better pickup than the Lubellion here. So we search a Drew's Worm, we activate the Regained, we try to use Drew's Worm, they will chain their trap, we have nothing, so we just pass. So into game 2, we of course decide to go first, opening hand Lubellion called by Levy, Noctovision and Black Metal Dragon. That's insane, and they are on Ash, Evenly, Mind Control, Droll, and Angler, so a very good going second hand if they top deck like a Starter or like a Jet or any Spright name basically. I guess not any, but like Blue or Jet, then this hand is insane. So we get rolled here. We thought about not called by the Graving, but because we have everything in our hand, we definitely called by the Grave the roll there. So we normal summon Black Metal, go into the Striker Dragon, chaining 1 Striker, chaining 2 Black Metal. Black Metal has been overperforming, definitely the best addition I had into the deck. It just feels so good to have an additional starter. And while Safer does have the highest ceiling, it only has the highest ceiling if you have basically everything with it, and Black Metal just feels so good to have. Just Safer is slightly better, but it's not really that much better, because like 9 out of 10 times you just use Safer, search Chillhop Serpent, and banish the Safer anyways. And because we don't go for the Borderland lines, we don't really get that Safer back anyways. So we go for standard Romulus line here. We keep the Black Metal, the Darkness Metal Dragon, because we had the Noctovision. So we don't really need the Romulus right now. The Red at Darkness Metal Dragon to get into that, and we'd much rather go through it with the Romulus with the Noctovision, of course, because that gives us a draw. So here we get the Ravine. We drew a Safer, which is a very nice discard. You like to see that. And we can actually make use out of that later on. So we summon Magnamut, banishing Noctovision, effect Magnamut, and we just make a seal here. What this does allow us is to have Romulus into the graveyard. If we get nipped, we have something to summon off, and I really like to do that. Like I said in the video yesterday, I really play this like Bystial Control still, and you can see this. We just have a higher ceiling and a higher consistency when it comes to seeing starters. We just, of course, lose some utility we had before, and we also lose some going second staples. But overall, it's really fine. Just getting a very early seal on is super secure for comboing. So we use Ravine, pitch the Safer, send an Absa Router. This Absa Router will get Ash, so we don't have Rokket Engine yet, but we still have some plays here, because I figured there was an Ash because the opponent was thinking on certain choke points, so I figured there probably will still be an Ash on the Absa Router. So we now go for the Safer, the Leviathan, banishing Absa Router, Black Metal, and Striker Dragon, and we are allowed to hand trip one of them, so we hand trip it evenly. That's pretty good. We summon the the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon over the Levianeer, and then we can summon Sacred out of the graveyard. We tribute the Black Metal Dragon for the Lubellion, getting us our Branded Beast, probably in this scenario. You could argue for regame because the opponent is on like 3 cards for turn, but it just makes sense in my opinion. So we go for a Rokket Tracer Search here off the Saver, so we actually still have that, and we just went full combo through everything. So sorry, I just got a call. So we got the Bandit Beast off that, we got the Tracer off the Saferd. So we are basically doing full combo through 2 hand traps and hand ripping 1 in the meantime because we had access to the Leviathan. We don't have any non-engine, but because the opponent is on 3 cards and we have 3 disruptions plus insane follow-up, we should be able to do that quite easily. So the opponent draws a Drone Lockbird. This is not a card which does anything. We Savage negate the Mind Control, and then the opponent goes for Battle Phase. Even if they had an Evenly here, they would have had to have exactly Evenly starter. And if they Evenly us, we would have used Seal to balance the Lubellion to have even more follow-up, leave Branded Beast on board, summon a Magnamut, and then have Druid's Worm for the last push with Branded Beast. So even like the most perfect hand, they wouldn't have done it for the opponent. So we go into the game 3. And the opponent decides to go first. Opening hand is Caddy, Beaver, Angler. That's the 3rd time Angler's in the hand. E-Teller and Blue. That's a pretty solid hand. No non-engine, but going first, this plays through a lot. And we do have a lot. We have a Saferd, we have a Quick Launch, we have a Dark Ruler, we have a Tracer, and we have a Gamma. And this Gamma has been getting less and less good, especially now with people being on E-Teller. With Prosperity, E-Teller, and Starter, they have just so many ways to play through a Gamma on the Beaver. I'm starting to think that you don't really want to hit the Beaver with the Gamma, but I still think it's the correct play, just because it does still give them a lot, and they have to commit a lot of their hand into the play then. That basically means that they don't really have a lot of non-engine, and you can definitely beat the Spright board with this deck, especially if you have a Dark Ruler no more. So they start have a Blue, use the E-Teller to get the Gamma, so they just basically invalidated this Gamma because they can still go full combo after this. So they search a Red here. That's a very good pickup for them because that means they would just summon the Gigantic, the Jet of the Gigantic, and because they have Caddy Hard Draw, they can save 2 bodies, which they just don't need. So they send Angler here, summon 2 Beavers out of the deck, and then overlay these for Gigantic, effect Gigantic, summon Jet. Jet searches something. Probably the trap here. You could argue for Smashers, because Banishing is better in this matchup, but probably they started it out, maybe, I don't know. And they just pass. We get rid of our Gamma Driver. They summon Caddy, which is totally fine for us because we have a Ruler. So we just Dark Ruler them. We are praying that, well, we know that they don't have a Judgment. Then we normal summon Safer. They do trap that. I'm not too sure if that is the correct play against Bystial Control. It is 100%, but I'm not sure against Dragon Link because we have just so many pushes, right? But we do have ways to play around that. We have a Quick Launch, go for a Rokket Tracer, summon the Striker Dragon, effect Striker Dragon to search, get the Boot Sector Launch, effect Boot Sector Launch. We could argue to summon out of hand here to play around a Ghost Spell, but I decided to summon out of the graveyard. Because we just wanted to play more with our resources. Probably in a real tournament, you should summon out of the hand just to play around that. You don't really need the Ghost Spell and the Tracer in hand anyways. So we summon the Tracer, we get rid of the Striker Dragon so that we have a Link 1 into the graveyard if we ever want to go for something spicy. And most importantly, because the Striker Dragon will get removed anyways, because we are here going for not a Savage, but a Scarlet Dragon, to get rid of Juicy, the whole completely opponent's end board, apart from our Saferd, because that was, of course, normal summon. Here, we don't do burn damage, of course, which would have been insane, because that would have been 3k burn damage, or 2.5k burn damage right there. We run over the Saferd, and we just pass. Sadly, we cannot extend a little further, but that's totally fine. The opponent just draws a Judgment, so we are pretty fine in the next turn. We draw an Ash, perfect pickup in a simplified game set like that. We try to go for a combo again by normal summoning Saferd. The opponent Judgment is this. We cannot kill you because Boot Sector summons in graveyard from both positions, and we can only summon from hand anyways. But we can now just summon, go for 3k attack, summon Tracer out of the hand, and then just go for a quick Seal with an Ash in hand. This is pretty much game. They draw a carrot, and they admit defeat. So that was an insanely close game. Dark Ruler really put in some work, same as the Scarlet, even though on Dueling Book it is not as clean because of no time rules, but just having the the option to go for a very easy board wipe with just basically Rokket Engine access is very valuable in my opinion. So, hope you guys enjoyed this replay analysis of me getting better and better with Dragon Link. Definitely check out my stream in the link down below if you want to see me get even better with the deck. And without further ado, class is dismissed. You guys are free to leave. Professor Sunreis out. Peace.